Okay, I think we're live. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and happy football day, because today is the day where the season begins. I've got my fantasy lineup ready to go. How's everyone doing? I'm taking a big risk here, trying to get in a live stream before the first game. So, yeah, let's wait till everyone, some other folks trickle in here, but how's everyone been? What are we reading? What are we excited to read? What have we loved? What have we hated? I've been currently reading The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, and my gosh, what a surprise. This was not planned at all. And I've been blown away by it. I'm about 50 pages in, and wow, I didn't know this was written in 1959. It's a classic. I've decided to join a read along of The Hobbit with a friend of mine. Very cool. The Hobbit is it's perfect for any season, but I feel like The Hobbit is perfect for fall. And we're not at fall yet, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Hello, hello. Toby, how are you doing? I'm here even though I haven't read the book. Well, that's okay. You can hang out and maybe have some coffee and just chill. You don't have to read the book. This was my first McCarthy. Just finished it. Now reading the graphic novel. Okay, very cool. What, Ryan? What did you think of All the Pretty Horses? This was, I guess, my second McCarthy book, but my first as like a full-fledged adult, and I really liked it. I really, really liked it. I thought it was one of the best books I've ever read. I know that sounds crazy, but it's something else. Can't miss out on a live. Gotta be here no matter what. Hey, you're awesome. Also, if I'm tired and quiet and groggy, it's because my wife and I, we had a long weekend filming a wedding yesterday, and we drove 3.5 hours in the middle of the night. So barely got any sleep. Excuse me. So I'm still waking up here. Sadly, DNF this one. The run-on sentences made me feel physically out of breath. I get you right there. That excuse me. That took a while. It took me about 30 pages to really understand what's going on with the landscape of just Cormac McCarthy's writing style. It's very different. No one writes like him. No one. I know we say that about certain authors, but McCarthy is in his own realm when it comes to writing. It's simple, but also complex with how how little is said. He doesn't waste words. I loved his writing style, but I get it. You no worries about you know, not finishing it. I used to take my time rereading each sentence of McCarthy, then figured it was easier to just get caught in the current. If that doesn't describe uh, McCarthy, reading McCarthy, that's perfect. It took me about 50 pages to truly understand what the F was even happening in the plot. Yeah, same. And even toward the end, I was like, what's going on here? But I got it. I understood it. But I know there's so much philosophical undertones and messaging and meaning behind so much of this book. John from Talking Story, he was mentioning that even in the very beginning, the theme of reflections. And I didn't quite catch that in the beginning, and I really didn't look out for that throughout my read, but maybe on a reread I can figure that out, see if I notice that. I tried so hard to grasp it, even started rereading it, just couldn't soak anything up. I love the fact that you tried to reread it. That's I would have just given up after, the first few pages and just like, this isn't for me. Really like it a lot. I loved how much McCarthy left it open for interpretation and opinion on motives and actions. I agree. I totally agree. Reading Revelations right now, book 4. Have you heard of these books? No, I don't think I have heard of these books. I actually crammed the book in 3 days because I really did not want to miss out on the discussion. You're awesome. You did not have to do that. I also read this book in about 3 days. I couldn't stop. It just kept pulling me back or pulling me in. And again, how simplistic his writing is, how just like boom, boom, boom. It's very statement forward, very go boom, line after line after line. And I just couldn't stop reading it. It made for an easy read, how it flowed, but whether I was metabolizing it or not, that's totally different. I'd have to reread it again and again and again in order to really get all the meanings in it. Thomas, what did you think about the side characters? Did you think they were given enough characterization or not? I thought it was perfect. The side characters didn't need to be, focused on. They were kind of part of, they felt like the world felt really lived in, and, the main character going into Mexico, a new land, all of these characters are new to him. Clearly, he understood the language a bit. But I don't know. I felt like the characters were given proper amount of time. What would you say the general premise of the book? Oh gosh. I mean, I would say by the way, I did post my review of this on my channel. I don't know if you've seen it. If you haven't, check it out. The general premise, I believe, is just two friends going to Mexico. Maybe wanting a simpler life. Maybe to live as a cowboy. Because I know oh my gosh. Bear with me real quick. So John Grady Cole and his friend, I think John Grady, he his family ranch got sold. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe his family ranch got sold, and that kind of pushed him to, I guess, want that life. He wanted to be a rancher in this time where trucks and machines are coming into play. And I feel like the classic cowboy rancher, who rides horses everywhere, is not as common in America anymore in the 1940s. So I feel like maybe he was trying to go down into Mexico to get away from it all, to live a simpler life, a new life. I don't know. That's what I took from it. The book heavily reminded me of Red Dead Redemption 2 with its themes of lost times and all the reverence for cowboy days. Yeah, exactly. I think that's, yeah, very true. And I cannot wait to play Red Dead Redemption 2. Highly recommend listening to the audiobook as well by Frank Mueller. I read the book alongside the audio and it was fantastic. One of the best narrations of all time. Love it. Yeah. I'm not an audiobook guy, but I'll take you up on that. I don't know who Frank Mueller is, but he sounds like a familiar name. Toby. The writing feels very filmable. The lens is always still focused on paintings, whilst the characters move around the painting. His prose is like good. Yes, Toby, you are speaking my mind. Yes. I thought it was very cinematic. Like certain authors get so descriptive to the point the picture gets muddled and blurry. But this picture was so crystal clear, so vivid, and I could picture every landscape, every moment. And I also love how it felt like a script where how Cormac McCarthy describes people's movements, how they position something, how they, hold a cigarette by their ear or something. It's so vivid, and you could picture it, boom, beat for beat. Felt like a theater play too. Love that. And Cormac McCarthy doesn't, you know, reinvent the wheel with this. It's so straightforward and accessible. Sorry for all the yapping, but stop it. Nah, you're good. You're good. Love how peaceful you seem, man. Hey, I appreciate it. Right now I'm just really tired too. So I'm still slowly waking up. Had a long weekend for work. Personally think that Alejandra, sorry for the butchering of the name, somewhat less characterized. I found it odd that there's long monologues about women's rights, but the love interest. Well, what I loved is how important a woman's role is in that culture, and how in that political landscape, how a woman's name and image is so important. And I don't know. Hold up. All right. Sorry, we got loud neighbors. I don't know if you heard that. I don't know what this mic picks up. I got my windows open. It's a beautiful Sunday morning. Yeah, there's a lot of political commentary, but I don't know, it didn't feel shoehorned. I know there was a long monologue in there, a really long monologue. Uh, but I don't know, I was so interested that it didn't seem as long as I thought it would be. Talk about a long monologue that I was like, oh my gosh. Voldemort's monologue in, is it book 4 of Harry Potter? Maybe. That was a long monologue. That was telling, not showing. But anyways, that's another time. Uh, is not really given enough time and character other than an object of desire. Well, maybe that was Cormac's intention. That's a good point though, that you noticed that. Hey, do I have a Patreon? I do not. I was thinking about this. I really don't know what I would do with a Patreon. Like what would I offer? Because I don't know what more I can offer that people would want to pay for, other than just, support the channel, which is kind. I don't know. It would be fun. It would be a fun idea. If you have any ideas, I'd love to brainstorm. Here being unintentionally poetic with his descriptions. When do we get to read your stuff, man? You ever planned visiting Turkey? I have. The last time I left the United States was when I visited England and Italy when I was a wee little lad, and I'd like to visit other countries. Life is so fast, and I need to update my passport. Oh, you're so kind. I appreciate that. The activity we're doing here feels like something people usually offer for Patreon supporters. Yeah, I guess I get that. It just it felt weird to me, starting a book club and locking it behind a membership. It just feels weird to me. And I know a lot of people do that, and that's fine. That's just how they do it. And for me, I guess I wanted it to just be a little more freeing and open. But maybe we could make it a little more private rather than have it up on the public space. Because I've noticed the book club stuff is very selective and very intimate. Not a lot of people, that follow my channel go to the book club. And a lot of people don't even know we have a book club. It's really hard to communicate what book is the month, what book is to be read for the month, and when the live stream is, and uh, I don't know. Some people just don't see the videos that I post. Um, and then I'll make posts on YouTube letting people know about, when a book club discussion is going to be or what the book is for the month. And sometimes that'll get to someone and sometimes it won't. So I don't know. It's very interesting. Ooh, Patreon members can play Magic the Gathering Arena with you. That's pretty funny. That is fun. Same here. I feel that it's weird too. Yeah. Maybe we could come up with a name for our book club now. That's a good idea. Book of the month. Book of the month book club. That's all I've got. Caffeinated Cowboys or something. That sounds like a fun little band. What is the next Western on the radar? The Crossing, Lonesome Dove. So Toby, I don't know if you've seen that. I read True Grit. Excuse me, goodness. True Grit by Charles Portis. Blew through that in a few days. Loved it. Not as much as All the Pretty Horses, but I thought True Grit was a lot better than Coen Brothers film. I thought Coen Brothers film took a few creative liberties that I wasn't excited about. So I actually started the film after I finished the book, and I stopped the film. I just couldn't finish it. I was like, I don't like it. The book was so much better. but the next Western is definitely going to be Lonesome Dove. However, I may get pulled in to another Western before then. I just don't want to, uh, beat a dead horse with Westerns, just ruin my taste for Westerns by just constantly reading Westerns. So by the time I get to Lonesome Dove, I'm burnt out. So right now I'm going into spooky books for sure. And then Lonesome Dove, November, December time frame. I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to Lonesome Dove. The Crossing, I'd love to read The Crossing. After reading this book, it's really hard not to just want to dive into all of Cormac's books. I think Cormac has such a way with words and storytelling that I'm just like, I want to dive in. I had to slap my hand away. I almost picked up Blood Meridian, started reading that, but I'm just like, I want to hold off. I want to space my Westerns out. I want to space my Cormac McCarthy books out. Don't want to read them all in 1 week. October book club name, Howling. Are you planning on reading further into the Borders trilogy? Yes, I would love to. If not, I might read on my own. You probably are going to have to read on your own if you can't wait. Excuse me. I kind of want to ask for a couple books for Christmas. I want to hold off because I don't own those books. There's an adaptation of All the Pretty Horses done by Billy Bob Thornton, but it has terrible. Man. Yeah, I don't. It's very rare that a book gets a really good movie adaptation. As far as I'm concerned, spooky season starts in September. We're good to go now. I agree, Toby. I agree. Started with this bad boy. Loving it. Really love this. And the spooky stuff haven't even happened yet. So Blood Meridian is a wild ride. It's so graphic. I was the little city town where we filmed the wedding this past weekend. I went to a bookstore, little bookshop, and the lady behind the counter was talking about Cormac McCarthy. And she said, the way he writes violence. No one writes like violence like him. And we didn't get much violence in this book. When we did, it was... I didn't think it was as graphic. It was more the anticipation of violence and the uneasiness of it all. It reminded me of, and I know Cormac has wrote No Country for Old Men. It reminded me of that book, or it reminded me of the film, of just kind of a cat and mouse chase, but not really. It's just the anticipation, waiting for the unknown to happen. And I thought that was more impactful than just a bunch of violence. And it had me on the edge of my seat, not knowing what was happening, not knowing who to trust. And it's very interesting. And then let's do some spoilers here. So he goes to a ranch, becomes a ranch hand, John Grady Cole and his friend. And then, I don't know, is the ranch owner a part of like a political leadership, or is he part of like, who was he exactly? What did you take from that? Part of the book where John gets to share his story with the judge hits me hard. got teary, felt so, yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh man. Now you're bringing me back. It's been like a week and a half, 2 weeks since I finished this book. Goodness. This book hits hard. I don't think I'm ready for something like Blood Meridian, not in the mood for something that bleak. Life is already too bleak. I get it. I think the ranch owner was just a very rich man or someone. Yeah. And then Alejandra's aunt, she was the one that didn't like John Grady Cole, right? And then John Grady Cole went to prison. And then I guess he got out of prison. And then he got revenge. Did he seek revenge out? Because a lot of the narrative beats, more often than not, went over my head. I was just kind of riding the waves, riding the current, very much like Toby saying earlier, riding the current of Cormac McCarthy's just words, rather than following the plot beat for beat, because it's an emotional roller coaster, but it's a slow roller coaster. It's a very lonely book, very dark. And I said in my review, it's very dark literally because of the weather. The sun barely poked out. And there's a lot of coffee in the book. Loved it. Loved all the coffee drinking. For my review of All the Pretty Horses, I made cowboy coffee. And I did a little demonstration of how to make cowboy coffee. And man, it is so interesting how cowboy coffee is made. You literally boil the coffee. And you're boiling so much flavor out. It's a smooth cup, but it's you're boiling out the acidity of the coffee. So whenever I made so many cups of coffee because I just wanted to always have a cup of coffee when I read this book. The characters are drinking coffee all the time. No matter what they're eating, no matter what they're doing. And I like that. I like that aspect. I loved the aspect of just food and the daily meals that characters would eat. And it was like a nice passage of time. And it was tangible. It was human, relatable. Yeah, the aunt had ties to the family that were part of the Exactly. Okay. All right. I found it fascinating how the aunt describes Mexico, saying they were not fit to become president because they were not Mexicans by heart. Oh, yeah. Okay. I think I have been drinking cowboy coffee by mistake. Yeah. When you make coffee, you're supposed to boil your water no more than 205 degrees Fahrenheit. And any more than that, or mainly more than 208, you are just zapping the coffee out. You're not allowing the coffee to brew properly and keep in all the depth of flavor. I usually have warm water, put coffee in it, just stir. Is that cowboy coffee or being dumb? No, that's not dumb. That's how I used to have my coffee years ago. And then my wife, got me in on French press and Chemex and pour over and all that. But I think that's a great way, especially if you camp, go out a lot. Yeah, that's an easy way to have coffee. But a good, easy way to drink coffee or make coffee is French press. Are you familiar with that? French press is very similar to kind of what you do, but you have your warm water, your hot water, 205 degrees. Put the coffee, however much coffee, in your French press. Put the water in there, stir it for 30 seconds, and then you let it sit for 4 minutes. Then you push it down, push the French press down, and then you pour. and that's a French press. It's very similar to cowboy coffee, but you don't boil it. Not familiar with any other way of making coffee. Okay. Well, that's fine. Totally fine. There are plenty of ways to make coffee, and the way you make coffee, if that's how you enjoy it, by all means. Okay. I know we haven't really been talking about the book for this to be a book club discussion. Any other thoughts or questions about the book? I know it's been tales, really, just you and me. Where is everybody? Hey, it's football Sunday. We got 13 minutes until kickoff. I am probably going to have to cut it short just because of how tired I am. I feel like there's a lot of lacking a lot of folk today. I'm currently fighting a thunderstorm. Oh, wow. Okay, well, you need to stay warm. Get a cup of coffee. Get a cozy book next to a candlelight. Third-person perspective leaves it open for contemplation. Did they rob a bank? Why did the rancher turn them in? Is Belvin's just some sad kid or have a shady background? Yeah, that's a good point, Ryan. Yeah. Because weren't they talking about some sort of like assassin? Or like was Blevins like a sharpshooter guy? It's very interesting. What will the next book club be? We'll try to get on that for the next discussion. I don't even have it with me. Hold up. The next book club book is Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. You do not have to read this if you don't want to. If you want to, by all means, join in. I don't know when I'll start this. Kind of not in the mood for it just yet, but we'll see. I mean, it's very popular. Rollins is annoying. Were any other aspects of the story or character you found fascinating? I love what Ryan brought up. The fact that these men, we don't know exactly what they did, and we don't know who they are fully. I do think John Grady Cole, we know a lot about him because he's the main character, but that discussion with the judge at the end is very human, with the doubt that he had, and just that inner turmoil of what he had to deal with. Oh, you read that? It's a good one too? Okay. All right. Cool. Awesome. All things considered, this has been a very successful reading year so far for us and this channel. Back-to-back bangers. Toby, you're awesome. Mine is Piranesi. Yes, I agree. I agree. I found Blevins funny in the lightning scene. Yeah. Rollins a bit annoying, but gave perspective to John's actions. Yeah. What I loved is how there was a contrast between the characters, and how so much is left unsaid, but you learn so much about the characters based off how they react to one another and through their actions. It's really well done, really well presented. I kind of want to reread this again. By the way, I want to thank you for helping me with my reading slump with this book. Oh, wow. Awesome. I'm happy. Happy this helped. This right here. Really good. Their reactions speak louder than words. The answers are in their silences. I agree. Really well said. Really well said. Because that's again another thing why this book stood out to me. I look back at so many other books now, and there's really good writers out there, really great writers. Hobb, um, Stephen King, of course, but I don't know. There's a poetry, there's a simplicity to Cormac's writing that it gets right under your skin. Really makes you feel uneasy, and so many questions are just bumbling in my head, wondering so many different things. What's reality? What isn't? Who really is this person? What are their intentions? A quote that stood out to me that I wrote down in my notebook was, "Scars have a strange power to remind us that our past is real." Yep. Yep. That's a deep one. Man, I think we're going to have to. I think The Road would be a good read for November for the book club. I think Cormac is such a good book club author. Have you been reading all your life, or did you just get into it later? I just got into it about 5 years ago. And I think ever since starting this channel, it's become much more of a regular thing. So it's been a lot of fun. What about you? Hey guys, I set an alarm for this live stream and it didn't go off, but I'm glad to have made it. Tucker, you're awesome. Jay Tucker, appreciate you. The Road is a good November pick. November is bleak, but not festive. Sounds awful, but I agree. Toby, you like Prisoners, right? By Denis Villeneuve. Talk about a bleak film for November. What did you all think that the point was of the book? Like, what kind of point was McCarthy making with the story? That's a good question, Tails. You're gonna hate me. I've never watched Prisoners. I'm not gonna hate you, Toby. I'm just gonna be a little disappointed. Toby, you gotta read it. Or sorry, you gotta read it and watch it. Yeah, Prisoners might be one of my favorite Denis Villeneuve films. And it's crazy to think, but my friend and I, we try to rewatch it annually around Thanksgiving time. It's not a movie you rewatch. But back to Tails' question, why don't we end on this? Just because, we are running almost to an hour here. What did we think the point of the book? What was the point that Cormac was trying to make here with this book? And what is something you took from this book? Oh, hey, how you doing? I've decided to begin reading All the Pretty Horses. Honestly, I've literally never picked up a Western. That's awesome. Love to hear it. I think you should. If you don't jive with the writing style, don't feel bad. Put it away, put it down. Maybe take a break, try it again. But that's awesome. Happy you're giving that genre a shot, because I've never read a Western until this one too. So Westerns are very niche. And whenever I look up a Western book on YouTube, YouTube thinks that's all I read now. So it's all the videos I get. The American dream can be about to hand it to you, but can be taken away in an instant, selling the ranch. And we have to follow our own dream. Okay, I like that. I've been reading all my life, then life got hectic and I no longer had the time, but eventually I found my way back. Books became my escape and fell into reading again. Yeah, life gets hectic and it's easy to, you know, uh, I don't know, these days go by so fast. It's easy to not, you know, take a step back and slow down. Crack open a physical book, read the words. It's really helped me enjoy the quiet and the peace of life and just enjoy the quiet time of a day and get lost in a story. So it's awesome that you're back into reading. So back on real quick, I didn't want to forget this person right here. Late to the stream, but I'm so game for the road for the next book club. Awesome. That'll be November. October is going to be Something Wicked This Way Comes. And then this month, September, is Anxious People. I'll be honest, I gave this book a try. Like the first 5 pages, and I was like, not into it right now. Not yet. But let's finish up real quick on all the pretty horses. What we thought the point of the book was. The point was to highlight the journey of small men into a large world. The promise of a new life in a world which appears to have no limits, but they quickly find out does. The sad American dream. Okay. To me, I think it touches on a bunch of things like fate, the loss of innocence, how much the myth of the cowboy's fate compared to reality. Ooh, that's a good one. The idea that the American dream isn't real anymore. Yeah, I mean, dreams are dreams, and then there's reality. And I think that's a good point you make. A lot what I took was definitely choices have consequences. And the myth of the cowboy. Kind of the cowboy is long gone or slowly getting pushed off. You've got trucks, you've got cars, you've got things with 4 wheels driving around, picking up John Grady Cole to and from these places. All the while, him and Blevins and, oh my gosh, I already forgot his friend's name. Rollins, how they ride horses. And it made me think, I wonder what it was like back then. 1911, 1914, seeing the first cars come into play, coming into the world. You've got people who've traveled by foot and horse, cowboys on horses. And then you see these big steel machines come in. And just so curious how that transition was. You know, you have these trails and you have these roads, horses riding these trails. And then cars take over. It's very interesting. Wonder what that transition was like. And I also like your point about loss of innocence, because these are teenage boys. Although they are very much men, but they've a lot to learn. I recommend Shane by Jack Schaefer. That is a short Western, but a good one. Okay. Toby, a reread of The Last Unicorn and The Road in November is going to clash so hard. Yeah, I'm all for it too. I like that. That sounds fun. Speaking of loss of innocence, anyone catch what the captain in the first jail did to Rollins? Super subtle, but it's there. Poor Rollins. Huh. Shoot. Maybe I need to check. Oh boy. I have a knot in my stomach. This book hit hard. I also found it fascinating that it's set in the 50s instead of the 1800s. Yes, Tails. I really thought I thought this book was in the 1800s or at least early 1900s. But no, it's late 1940s. It's very interesting, especially when they were like going into the diner. Like, huh. And I think it added to the feeling, that lonely feeling, and, cowboys fading off into the past. Wait, are we ditching anxious? No, we're not ditching. This is the book officially. I just need to read it. I tried it for a little bit, wasn't into it. I'll pick it back up in a couple weeks. The pursuit of life is often more exciting than starting one. That's the myth Grady is sucked into. Yeah. You have this fascination with all the new things and dreams of something new and a new life. But then you don't think of the logistics and the reality of the situation and all the energy that has to get put into it. Honestly, didn't understand that. What was the point? Humiliation? Back then, the edge of the world was at the bottom of the porch or at the end of the garden. You went to find the world, then it changed. The world finds you first. Ah, Toby, I need to buy your books right now. Also, keep in mind that almost everything that John Grady thought would turn out great doesn't. Yeah, very much so. Most important being his love story with the ranch owner's daughter. He goes to great length, but she ends up rejecting him. Maybe a rejection of the romanticized way that romance is shown before. That's another thing I loved about this book. I know Elizabeth is in here and she's just starting this book and we're spoiling it. I'm going to spoil it again, but yeah, what I loved about this book is the romance side of it. It felt very real, especially for that time. And just how the good guy doesn't always win. And this book didn't have a happy ending per se. He doesn't get the girl and save the kingdom and become the king, He doesn't get the ranch. So I like that. I like that about Cormac's writing. It's so real. Tails, the captain was described as wearing a yellow scarf. Mentioned that Blevins didn't have his feathers yet. Rollins asking John if he got taken to the other room as well. Read that part again. Yeah, I'll have to read that part again. The cowboys are vanishing in the 40s, so they set out to find their place in the world only to find it's already moved on. Whoa. Yep. Very true. To me, it took me a moment to realize that it isn't the 1800s. It took the reference to Coca-Cola. Yeah. Yeah, it does have a different meaning. Man. I think I'm going to cut it off there. We've been going for almost an hour. And yeah, we had a small intimate crowd and I'm okay with that. I like talking about books. I picture it as a few of us just hanging out in a coffee shop, talking about a book we just read. And if you haven't read All the Pretty Horses, highly recommend it. It's a book that is rewarding in many ways, especially on rereads. And again, no one writes like Cormac. No one. I know. I'm sorry. I'm cutting it short. I know. Toby, stay safe in the thunderstorm. This was really fun. If Anxious People wasn't your thing, give Beartown a try. It's actually where I started, thanks to Murphy. Yeah, Murphy is the reason I discovered Frederick Bachman. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to give this a shot. I hear it's funny. I hear it's deep. And yeah, I'm excited. So thank you all for hanging out. 14 of us is enough to pack a room. That's all we need. Exactly, Toby. Exactly. Yeah. Tails, really thank you for hanging out. Means a lot. All of you. Cheers and enjoy your Sunday.